Hey everybody, welcome to Popular Unknown Paintball Live, and this is episode 17, I believe. And I hate to say it, but this is another one of my famous or infamous fake it till you make it episodes. So if anybody wants to join in, don't hesitate to reach out. Yeah. Oh, I have Neb coming on.
Hey,
Hey Neb,
how's it going?
nice to meet you finally. So
Yeah, here I am.
everybody and I know that this is one of my new famous fake it till you make it. um I'll either have guests and they bail, or um I'll be too lazy, or they'll come up and I haven't scheduled a guest, and whatever the case may be. So it's just let's talk paintball. So thank you very much for reaching out. Happy to put you
No
on. I
problem.
know you and I've chatted on Facebook a little bit, and you're a local Toronto boy, which is always awesome.
Yes,
Although I don't
sir.
know if we've met anytime recently or if ever. And you're a huge autococker guy. So, all
That's
right.
a fair assessment. Yeah.
Now, do you use anything else other than autocockers, or is that your main go-to?
Auto cockers, auto mags, tracers, matrix. There's new space guns out there I want to play with. You have one, the shocker that you received.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot out there that I want to play with.
Awesome. Now, bear with me 1 second. I am writing a banner letting everybody know this is a fake it till you make it, and if they want to join us, that they should message us. So feel free to ask me any questions, and I'll listen and I'll talk. That way it allows me to do two things at once.
Perfect. Did you ever go to the Raiders events or Flag Raiders?
I
Kind of fields back at.
haven't been. I've wanted to, and it was a priority for this year, but COVID.
Perfect. Well, that's kind of where I sort of started playing. The usual story. Rental kid. Played at a friend's birthday. I'm from Cambridge originally, so
Oh, nice.
that's where Flag Raiders started. So, I worked there, being a helicopter pilot for big games and stuff to make some money on weekends and stuff like that when I was a kid. So that's where it all started. And
You're an actual helicopter pilot?
no, the helicopter, the yellow rope with the tail gunner at the end in big games, big game paintball.
No, I'm sorry. I was just sort of like helicopter pilot. I was like, you're my new best friend. One of
No,
my.
that was one
Ahead.
of the few positions we could get as a 13-year-old with no work experience was out at the Flag Raiders field, whether it was washing 98 rentals or showing up for a big game directing parking or something like that. So that was one of the few employment opportunities we had.
Cool. Oh, 1 second. I'm not happy with that. I want to edit that because I want it to be scrolling. There we go. That's what I want. There we go. Otherwise, it's just too big. Well, okay. So, how old are you now?
33.
Ah, cool. And when did you start playing?
After that rental game, probably about 2000 or so. A couple of guys from high school had sort of an outlaw fields kind of behind this old factory out by the 401. We had piranhas and spiders and 98s, and then some jerk went and got an A5. So everyone was like, all right, well, let's pick up our game. And then, as always happens, they kind of got out of it, and I kind of wanted to keep going. So, still living in Cambridge, Flag Raiders was there every weekend, so just picked up there, started playing with them a bit.
Nice. Well, when I started playing, it was back in '89, and I wanted to play really bad, and I actually went and bought my own gear. And my friend from high school back then, Mark, um, he said he'd come out and play with me. He thought it would sound cool, so he rented. But I had my own gear, and he was looking at me weird. Is what it is. And I went out and played, and he said, "Yeah, it was fun." And I'm like, "Well, want to go next weekend?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "All right." But I had my own gear, so I just rolled on out. And the nice thing about paintball I've noticed, and maybe you can back this up, is even if you don't know a single soul, you can roll up on a field, you have your gear, and all you have to do to somebody is say, "Hey, that's really cool," or "Oh, I like that color," or "That's a vintage jersey," or something along that lines. Whatever strikes your fancy, you give them a compliment, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and you can immediately strike up a conversation. That's just something I've found. I'm never alone on a paintball field.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened kind of with our outlaw field. I felt like, you know, every weekend I was like bugging these guys, dragging their hungover butts out of bed, like, come on, let's go. And they were like, no, no. So you know what? Yeah, so I had my own stuff, so I went out and started playing there for a bit. And I noticed that they had a big game kind of promotional team, Task Force Raiders. So they said, you know, we're having tryouts, want to come and do that. So you know, I love big game paintball. It was kind of my older brother who got me into that. Just instead of sort of the weekend rec ball. So he actually took me down to EMR for Shatner Ball. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So as like a 17-year-old kid with your like 21-year-old brother bringing you to the States, and your mom's like, the brothers are bonding. It was just chaos. And I was sold. From then on, I was like, I'm in full. Like, I want all the cool stuff.
So you've played at EMR though. That's my takeaway from this. How often
Yeah,
have you been to EMR?
that was it. That was what I was
Just
17. That was
now,
probably
did you
2002, maybe something like that.
did you get to crash at the bunkhouses?
No, I don't even think any of that was there when we were there.
It had to have been because it was there in the 90s.
Okay, perfect. I was just super excited to see William Shatner and Tom Kay and all these cool, like they did like raffles for these really cool auto mags with cool colors. And it was like, my brother was a huge Star Trek nerd. So it was like Borg, we were on the Borg team. So yeah, I wanted to bring my lightsaber and he was like, no, you're not crossing this. So we had a lot of fun. And when I came back, I was sold. I haven't been down south to play kind of since. And I'm probably not going to go for a while.
How come?
You know, the borders are closed and yeah, I know. As long as Corona's not real down there, I'll go. But for now, we'll stick to the places up here.
That's the thing is, from what I've heard, Hawaii's going to open up to Canadians. And because it's not on the main, so since you're not playing, start salting the cash away, because there's a good chance that I'm going to be in Hawaii for Valentine's Day. And I'm not inviting you to be my date or anything like that. Don't worry. You're just not my type. You're a handsome man, but
what do they got going on out there?
But yeah, Valentine's Day is Dreaded Legends, and I'm thinking that's a must do.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. And I know a guy or two.
That's probably out of my budget. My wife's from Sarnia, so when they do open and it's, you know, I feel safe enough to go over there, I do want to hit up some places in Michigan.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard of the Mutants or the Mutant 13 teams. Yeah,
I've heard of them. Yep.
Yeah, I've kind of been talking to them back and forth, and yeah,
cool.
they seem like they're into what I'm kind of in. Like, I think back at EMR, you've probably heard of Blue and Blues Crew.
Yeah, I've known them personally.
That totally changed my mind. When I saw them roll a field in their speedball gear, and my brother was like, that's not traditional paintball, and he's dressed like a Borg and his gun's broken, and I was like, no, I want to be those guys. Like, give me that gun.
Yeah.
What is that? And he was like, that's an intimidator. I was like, yes, I need an intimidator now. And yeah, I can still do both. It was great. That really opened my mind.
Well, and by the way, anybody that's listening before I complete that sentence is, if anybody wants to join in, this is a fake it till you make it. I seeing you guys in the chats, and that's great. Sean, hey, good to talk to you. But if you guys want in, just send me a message, and I'll send you an invite. You can join us in the chat. This is a fake it till you make it. I have no idea. I have no control over this ship. We're just gonna roll on through. So, but getting back, Blue is fantastic. Like, he's the guy that used to own EMR. I don't know if he still does, or he bought it back, or whatever the case may.
I don't think he was there at Castle Conquest.
No,
this year. I watched some of the other footage out there. I didn't see him. I was asking. Everyone was going live, and no one knew where he was.
Okay, my man Neb and the POS VW Club.
Oh, we were talking about putting the APAO stickers on your car, and I said, watch out, then people might know you have like expensive toys in your car. And then we kind of joked back and forth about our POS VWs, and if you want to break in, have at her. There's probably a pile of old Tim Hortons cups. Nothing worth it.
So when you say you want to go to Michigan, are you talking like, where'd you go? And he dropped. That's kind of weird. I hope I'm still alive. Just your curiosity, we just lost our friend. He completely dropped out of the blue screen. So can everybody hear me all right? And Devon said Blue was not in attendance at Castle Conquest Frontlines 2020, but he will be there for Castle Frontlines 2021. Cool. Good to know. And you're back.
I'm back. Sorry.
What did you do?
Internets. I'm old. Anyway, you were asking.
So are you going to, like, have you been to Hell Survivors?
No, I haven't been anywhere. And that's where the mutants are kind of based.
That is such a cool field. Like,
I've seen it in their footage, and it's cool.
Like, yeah, but the main gate is in the middle of town. So kids actually, like when I was there, kids were actually all geared up with safety barrel bag. There we go.
Condoms.
One of those nights. But they would have their barrel bags on, and they'd be walking into town, like walking in front of houses, down the streets, and just like groups. And I literally walked out the front just to take a look around, and it was just people walk into the field, and it was just, this is the coolest thing ever, right in the middle of Pinckney, Michigan. I just love it. And then when you get in there, the place is massive. Like, it's huge. So
crazy. Yeah, I'm eager to get over there.
Yeah. So what are some of your top fields you want to hit?
This year I already hit up Wasaga, and that's awesome. I've been going there since back at their Halo games, and they did a stellar job inside and outside of the field.
Oh, I love Wasaga. Yeah.
It was a 300-person game, and they narrowed it down. Like, they kind of squished the field down a little bit, and people always complain, "Oh, there's too many people. There's too many people." It's because they don't want to run up and down the hills, right?
Right.
So they made it. I don't even know where to begin with the props and the missions. We played dodgeball in the middle of the rain during a paintball game. Yeah, they threw the balls out. Everyone had to go and get the balls and then play dodgeball. It was
I'd rather just shoot people, but
the shooting was going on at the same time.
All right, I don't know.
It was an 80s themed otter.
Yeah.
Things. So,
well, I was supposed to go, and I was planning on going, but I was supposed to have my kid, and then I didn't have my kid, but I wasn't able to get a ride. I reached out to a couple of my teams because I wanted to go. I was sitting around doing this, but yeah,
it was a good time. I only went on the Sunday, and it rained, so it brought me back to like every other Wasaga big game I'd been to. So I had a ton of fun.
Sounds like an NXL event.
Yeah, just as
not
muddy.
NXL if it doesn't rain.
Yeah, just as muddy and smelled as bad too. No, I'm joking. But I also like Flag Raiders, obviously. Grabbed a membership there when they had their pandemic pricing going on.
Oh, cool.
Flag Swipe, Adrenaline, DMC, kind of like the older haunts of the day. So
right.
I'd like to get back there first.
I don't get out that way very often. I tend to play local, and if I'm not playing local, I'm on a plane.
That's a good.
that just seems to be how it works. When I play, I tend to play local just because it's easy, convenient for me. And then my big stuff hits, I'm on a plane, and off I go. So the last time I played was in Denver, so that was crazy, and we lost you again. Just wonderful. So does anybody else want to join us? 1 second here. We got any messages? I sent out some invites. Matt, I don't know if you're watching, but yeah. Oh, he's back again. There we go.
I don't know what's going on. SteamYard gave me a pro tip. It said go closer to the router. So it's right there. I don't know.
Mine's jacked right in. I hardwire my stuff. So I am honestly surprised. There was a bunch of people said, I want to be on. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll send invites. So before, as I was logging in, I sent out a bunch of invites, and I'm glad to have you. It's awesome.
Here we are. two
Yeah.
strangers on a show trying to fake it. I see that Sean Halpin in the chat
Yeah.
said something about flag raiders in Joe's old field. So I wonder if he was at the Breslau fields. We probably shot each other, so that's
Well,
good.
Sean's a really good, cool guy, and Gary's just poking his head in. Hey, Gary, good to see you. If either of you, Sean, Chica, Gary, if any of you guys want to join us, just send me a message and say, yes, I want to join. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, Sean mentioned the Marine base that they had there at Flag Raiders, and that was awesome. They had this Marine base kind of at the bottom of this big hill they called Hill 3322, and that's actually the photo on my Paintball No Rules group that I'm an admin on. And yeah, he's absolutely right. That was such a good field.
Now, what I still want to make it to PRZ.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I've been hearing about it for the last few years. And I've had a couple opportunities, but things came up, and like when I was working at the factory, it was like, hey, you want to go to PRZ? Yes. And the factory goes, mandatory overtime. So
yeah, I haven't made it out there either.
Now I have all the time in the world, and
yeah, I probably took a good 6-year sort of hiatus from everything. Kind of once I graduated, I wound up in South Korea teaching English, trying to pay off my student debts.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as I got back, it was like right to my parents' basement, digging through gear bags. Like, what is this? Why do I have an evil minion? We'll just throw that in the recycling,
Those are actually desired at the moment.
I've heard that, and I'm sad.
I don't know why, but people are really enjoying fixing up and getting those weirder, more unique, I shouldn't say weirder, unique, less desired paintball guns and getting them singing just because they want to be different. And I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah. That was the story of my COVID. I was just,
you were sending me messages like, I want parts.
Yeah. I'll still take them. I got parts too. You can find me on McCarter Brown.
I literally have boxes of parts.
Yeah, and I just got a new Spec Ops vest delivered today, so there's something wrong with me. Even though I'm back at work now, going in every day, I got to get out of that mindset.
By the way, it says Facebook user, but that is Rick Bailey. Hey, Rick Bailey. And Rick Bailey is the man behind Splatoons. And that's the comics that came out in the late 90s. And he is re-jumping them back out. And I'm going to be talking about that in depth next week. But me being the sad sack that I am, didn't get all the information handy. So, Rick, while you're chatting and watching, please put the web page down where they can go and look at it, and I'll just put it up on the comments really quick, or not really quick, but I'll just put it up in the comments on a semi-regular basis, because he is doing a fundraiser and he's raffling off storyboards and chocolate paintball guns, like full-size chocolate paintball guns. They're cool as hell. I should have one to show off in the relatively near future. Fred Schultz has one that he shows off every now and then, but it's just absolutely cool what's going on, and I've been helping him out a little bit, but me being the suck that I am, and it's been crazy this last few days, personal stuff, nobody wants to hear it, but yeah, I don't have the prep work done. Hence, fake it till you make it. So
perfect. You had a raffle going on last week with some brass or something you were going to send down. Who was that for?
That is for Justin Doyle. And he's saying you need to go make it to PRZ. So, yeah, Sean, I'll definitely want to. Next time you're driving through Oshawa, let me know, and I'll see if I can hook up with you, and we'll roll PRZ together. I'll let you try my Ultra Shocker. Anyway, actually, if you're rolling through, we can probably grab Neb too. He can follow us in his VW
like DVP
POS.
in Eglinton. Yeah, it's a wagon. I got lots of room for old shitty gear in the back.
Okay, so this is Rick Bailey, and it says Rick Bailey is the website is rocking, and so that's www.splatoons.com. And the key thing about that to know is that it is a fundraiser, and there's a chance to. I think it's one out of like every 100 purchases. of like you every 100 donations, and I think it's $25 donations if memory serves me correctly. Maybe it's $20 US, 25 Canadian. I'm a little bit blurred. You have to forgive me. Like I said, I did not prepare. So Rick, you can flog me later. But he's got a lot of different things that are be giving away. So even though we want lots of ballads, as you go in, they're getting chopped off. So if you're in the first 100, it goes towards this. If you're in the second group, it goes towards that. And as you move forward, there's a lot of different prizes, and it's really, really cool. So everybody really needs to go to splatoons.com and check that out because it is awesome. But yeah. Anyway, so what are you building right now?
Right now I have a parts cocker thing I got going on. It's
okay.
I'll just go grab it. I can't really explain it.
Oh, sure. Just walk away. Leave me with an empty space. Nothing to see here. And my viewers just go ka-chunk, 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 while he goes and runs for a gun. This is awesome. So there we go. All right. So what are we looking at?
This was.
I see a Palmer's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that a mini reg? The Palmer's mini reg?
No, that's a ergo rig. So
okay.
This was inspired kind of by your, I believe you call it Black Beauty.
Blackie.
Okay. So this was my first VF tactical that I had. Probably like 2007 or so. And I completely wore all the parts out. The RAM went, everything went. So
right.
I was like, it's still cool. It's matte black. It looks like a pro stock, but it has kind of that carny length on it.
Right.
So I threw it in a bin, forgot about it. And then one of those gear bins I was diving through when I came back from Korea, and I thought, great. And then I had this mini Oracle. I believe that's what this was from, the Palmer's News on it. So I threw those on there. And then I needed some caulking rods. And then I found an old ANS push pin, and I found an orange bolt. And so it just started coming together. And then.
So what does it need?
Nothing.
It looks like it's built.
It's built. It just needs to be timed a bit.
Now, are you good with timing cockers?
Yeah. Right now it's just the cock or the trigger rod. It's a bit loose, so I need to just play with the three-way coupler a bit. But I had it out the other day. It was shooting about 250s. Timing was fine.
Nice.
So now I'm out of stuff to build. So that's what I've been building.
Well, what do you want to build?
I want to play with my tracer more. I have one of the Empire tracers with all the Picatinny rails on it, so I just want to see how much I can put on it. So I put like a mag pull kind of front grip on it so I can pump it. And I have a tack light on the top, and I want to find some kind of ridiculous scope. And, yeah, to the extreme.
By the way,
I'm running out of things
Neb
to
and
do.
Steve, that is Trevor Van Dorser saying hello. So, yeah. Hey, Trev. Good to see you.
Hey.
Glad to know you're following. Yeah, this is not like, I am surprised more people aren't saying, hey, can I be on? But no.
Yeah, Trevor and his shop kind of got me through COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, Trevor's awesome. I've been one of Trevor's customers since like the early 90s. I'm not exactly sure when Premium Paintball Products started, but I know it was out of the back of his car, and it was at RLD in Brooklyn, Ontario. And yeah, he used to have this car, and if you'd wanted stuff, and he traveled a little bit, so he would pick things up in the States that you just could not get up here, and he'd pop his trunk, and there'd be this cool stuff, and this like, yeah.
So you want to play with some of that cool stuff in his warehouse, and I've been.
Oh yeah, he's got tons of it, and he won't sell any of it. He just keeps it. And
he's been selling some of it. You just have to pay for it.
Occasionally you can get parts, but it's hard to get actual guns off them.
Yeah, he hooked me up with that TAC 1 that I've been using, and actually they helped me shim the tank just to get some more PSI. Like it's like 990
but a
now.
TAC. So the TAC 1 Automag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he loves his auto mags, and he built
Yes,
that
he
one
does.
excellently. So yeah, it scared some kids at Wasaga on Sunday, or a couple Sundays ago.
So I have to ask, why a tracer and not something like a Line SI Bushmaster or an old War Game Products or War Game Products
Sniper or something.
well, the Sniper or one of the Rangers?
Rangers. I actually have a Brass Eagle King Cobra that was made in Mississauga.
Yep,
Um,
I got two, three, two.
yeah, I don't know where to get the O-rings for the back bottle, but it's never worked. My first pump
Wait,
was a
wait, you're
Phantom.
talking? Are you talking the old 9 ounce? That's the O-ring seats inside. Because
No,
that was weird with them.
no, in the brass back bottle, like BASA,
Mm-hmm.
there's like a flat top double O-ring.
Okay.
There's two of them, and they just completely crumbled. So now you screw anything in the back, and it just horribly leaks out the back. So I haven't been able to find that size urethane flat O-ring.
Why
But
don't you just use a rubber one?
I tried, but it seems to leak. I don't know. I'll keep playing with it. It's a Brass Eagle. I don't think they were designed to work.
Mine worked amazing.
They were great.
Like,
Actually, that rental that I talked about, it was a Stingray, and people love to hate the Stingrays, but they're great.
yeah, no, we had back in the day, I had nothing but the best results with those old Brass Eagles. Now, were they a pain to clean? Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 second.
So I'd kind of dabbled in pump. I had a P68 AT, I had a P68, or no, what was the Magnum one? P68 Magnum,
Yep.
the Sheridan ones, and I love those. Those were great.
There was a P68 AT, there was a P68 Magnum, there was
Yeah, I had the
I just called
Magnum.
them there was P68 or there was PMI Piranhas.
Yeah.
And then there was long, like when I was looking at them, there was long barrel, short barrel, and then I went War Game Products. But yeah, this is War Game Products Ranger.
Yeah, with the original grip. I
Yeah.
love those. I had one of those on my 68 Auto Mag. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't go with something more classic. I kind of got rid of all my pump guns. I had a Phantom for a while. It was great. I wanted to get back into it this year.
Right.
So I just wanted a cheap something because it's great. Like pump is kind of what I needed. I went in my first couple events with all the guns. I wanted to use all of them, and then I found I just got to kind of get back to the basics. So I picked up the Tracer for $75, and I throw the WGP ammo boxes on it, the 45
Right.
round ammo boxes.
Yep.
I have an old ammo box harness with 10 round tubes and spots for
Yep.
more boxes. That's great. It gets me back to kind of the core competencies, I'll call them.
If you get the mag pouches from the Army Surplus store, they have little slots in so the mags stay straight, but you can stick 8 tubes in a mag pouch, like two.
I like that.
I know that for a fact because when I started playing, I didn't have all the straps, but I was able to get mag pouches, and so I had 8 in one and 8 in the other, and I was fully loaded. And then
Nice.
I got the military pistol belt, and then I got the Y straps, and then the 2 pouches sat in front.
Yeah.
But if you talk to Trevor nicely, he'll probably help set you up with one of these.
I can make that work.
I know, but you got to talk to Trevor nice, because the only thing that Trevor likes as much as Automag stuff, and I can't say as much as, but the one thing that he like his 2 favorites are Line SI and Airgun Designs. So
yeah, I need something from Indian Creek. Rest in peace.
Well, this was prior to Indian Creek. This is Line SI.
Yeah. But even their later bushies, that's on my list too. So
I see. I used to love those, and I want one. I never owned one. I thought they were so much fun to shoot.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about it was back in the day was that, excuse me. Sorry, everybody. The weird thing about it was back in the day is it seemed like the best way to get one of those to shoot well is use an oversized barrel, like overboard, and then make it long. It was the weirdest thing because you'd use a proper barrel and you get it nice and tight and whatnot, and people are having the worst time ever. And we'd go to different tournaments and stuff, but you'd grab an extra long barrel with a huge bore and you'd go and it just loved it.
That's the same with my shoebox shocker. It's a 4x4 sport.
Right.
It came with 2 barrels, and one actually Trevor's getting bored for me. So thanks. The other one's a 16-inch. I think it's a 16-inch All-American. And you put that on the front of the giant box thing, and everyone's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "I made it myself." I don't know what it is, but yeah, you're exactly right. It's like a 695 bore or something like that. But I guess just the knuckleball that it sends down, and by the time it rattles out, it just slings it.
I have no idea what it was, but on those Indian Creek Bushmaster BKOs or whatever it was,
Just the sound was amazing.
so much fun.
Bring back uncapped semi.
All right, let me just check. Somebody's messaging me on Facebook here, and nope, nothing important. I can't believe everybody says I want to be on. I'm like, all right. I sent out a bunch of invites, and
Sack up.
so any questions for me? Because we've been talking on Facebook a fair amount over the last little while, and you make lots of comments, and thank you very much. I enjoy interaction and whatnot. I love it, actually. But do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. Kind of what was your origin story? It seems like you kind of, were you speedball crossed over? Did you do big game?
I started in 1989. Speedball didn't exist.
So survival game.
I started, like I said, I went out and I bought a Brass Eagle Nightmare Competition short barrel because it had the speed eject, 12 gram, and it had a power feed. And the store owner said, "This is what you want because the paint will feed better and you can change your 12 grams easier." And he showed me the old one, which a lot of people were buying, and I went, "Okay, I'll go with that." And I went and I played the first game I had with my buddy Mark from high school. And like, we just graduated high school, but he was my best friend in high school, or one of. And then he didn't want to go out. And then I went out the next weekend and I played by myself, and I had such a good time. I was invited the second time I played to join a team called the Cannonballers. And it was a 25-man challenge team. And what they did was, you would challenge another team that had 25 people, and you would travel to their field first, and you would play, and then 2 weeks later they'd come and they'd play your home field. So it was for fun. It was a team, and I really liked those days back then because you had a group of people, you had fun playing with them, and then there was other groups of people that were playing. You're like, all right, let's travel. And so it was this giant road trip with like 25 guys, and we'd all roll out, have a game, and it was just a fun day. And we'd kick each other's butts for bragging rights, and then roll back, and then they'd come join us at your home field. And so every couple of weeks, you always had this really great game with really good friends.
Where was that, or what were the kind of top spots for that?
I beg your pardon?
Where would you play those? Like, where?
Well,
Like,
my first field was the Great White Bear Hunt, and it was in the Ganaraska Forest. And then paintball was expensive, and so I started reffing at the Combat Zone, just north of Oshawa. I think it was Combat Zone. Yeah, Combat Zone. And so I would ref on one day and I would play the next. So I was playing a lot at the Combat Zone, and I was playing at the Great White Bear Hunt. And then the Great White Bear Hunt folded, unfortunately. It was just mismanaged. It was too far out, and they were trying to make it mostly player owners, and it was great for that. But in order for a field to survive, you have to have renters. You have to have bread and butter coming in and pay for it. Like us paintball gun owners, like, we're cheap.
We just complain and whine, and
we do, and we know where to find stuff cheaper.
The refs are crappy. Everyone wipes. They shoot hot. I know.
But the bread and butter of any paintball field is the renters, right? So I was really lucky back then because I had Combat Zone, which was 25 minutes from my house, just north, and
Mhm.
then just a little bit west of that, just north of Whitby, in Brooklyn, there was RLD, which was one of the oldest fields in Canada, and it was
Mhm.
massive. And
Yeah, I've
that's where
heard.
I know Trevor from, Trevor
Mhm.
Van Dorser, premiumpaintballproducts.com. Go check him out.
Buy
Actually, he
Canadian.
owns Combat Pursuit Field,
Mhm.
just north of Pickering now, which is awesome. And that's my home field now. So yeah, definitely check it out. But so I played there, and then I was started to play a lot at RLD because RLD really had a good group of people. Cannonballers sort of faded away because internal strife. Because imagine that drama in a paintball team.
Yeah,
so
a bunch of young men. We don't have drama.
so I started playing a lot, bouncing beach. So Great White Bear Hunt went under. Uh, combat Combat Zone, I refed at. I didn't play there much because he didn't really like paintball owners that much because they didn't have it. He was getting so much business coming in from Toronto, having owners come in to play when he had a regular um, paying like big groups of people coming in from out of Toronto. It it didn't make sense to him, and I don't blame him. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
absolutely. Like, if you're out to make money, then make money, right? But RLD was so big, there was multiple fields to be playing at any given time, and so that's what we did. And so I would go and play walk on at RLD. So the renters would be off on one field and the owners would go off somewhere else. And we had our own ref, but the ref pretty much left us alone because we all know what we were doing. So we were just buy paint and sling it. And yeah, and then after that, once you start playing with lots of owners and people say, "Hey, you want to go play a tournament?" Like, yeah, I want to play the best. Like,
Mhm.
it wasn't about trophies or anything like that. It was just like, let's play. And back then there was a tournament series called the Golden Triangle, and you know what the Golden Triangle is,
Yeah.
basically wraps around Lake Ontario. Um, and so we started doing that circuit, and it was little 5-man tournaments, and it was just for little medals. Like, there was no real, it was just bragging rights. It was just this little tournament series, and it was so much fun. Like, I got my ass kicked. I handed to me on a regular basis. Um, Trevor used to win it on a fairly regular basis with his team, and I believe his team was ATV, accuracy through volume, if you can imagine that.
And some bouncing auto mags, I'm sure.
I'm sure. But back then too, the RT didn't exist, right? It wasn't until, like,
That's true.
he was playing with the regular mags, then the RTs came out, and I'm sure he had one of those. I don't remember. But
Did he
yeah,
have the dial a welt on the back? If he saw
I can
you at
neither
the other end.
I can neither confirm nor deny what Trevor did or didn't do during a tournament. The fact is he plays straight now. He owns Premium
Wow.
Paintball products, and he has his field, and that's. But no, he was a fierce competitor. Like,
Was that like
still
five
is.
man kind of bush ball?
Yeah. Well, you know what? There were
It's kind of like
different.
that mech stuff that they're bringing back,
Yeah, but there was speedball fields. Like, I mean, each
hyperball type stuff.
a little bit, but there was I think it was a place near Picton, and it had like this little town that was done up like a speedball field, and there was like little actual houses, but they didn't have a top, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
And it was a direct mirror, but each different field you played was different. Like, you didn't know, and it was just one field, and they'd cycle through, and there's 10, 20 teams. I forget how many, but you'd go out, you'd play, and every field was different. It wasn't like Hyperball, or Hyperball started
Mhm.
to come in a little bit later. I believe Ultimate had one,
Mhm.
but
That was the first one I ever had seen of or heard of, and I thought, oh, that's weird. Okay.
Hyperball,
Yeah,
I love Hyperball.
I had fun playing there, but I like their castle more.
Out at Ultimate.
Yeah, I went there years ago
Yeah.
for kind of rental groups. I don't really remember it, but we had a lot of fun.
It's my understanding that Ultimate's changed hands.
Mhm.
I think it's still owned. I think the land is still owned by Larry LaCastro, but I don't believe Larry has anything to do with paintball or paintball fields anymore, but don't quote me on that. But Ultimate used to be owned by Larry LaCastro. I ref there a few times and stuff, but that's on the
Yeah, I
other side
played
of
there
Toronto.
like once or twice with a church group of all groups. One of my friends was like, "Hey, our church group's going to play paintball." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." And I showed up like, "Let's go."
So, are you like me? Do you like when you know you're going out and playing with a bunch of inexperienced people? Let's call it inexperienced people. Um, if you know you're going to play, do you actually gear down and get the least? Like, I mean, you still wear a good mask, but you try to wear less intimidating clothing.
Nah, I always kind of wear my vest and ACU pants. And I don't know. I might go down to my tracer. Yeah, no, not really. I remember when I first played, like that first rental party, there was one of the guys that wore like those balaclava type things with the Predators vents, and
Yep.
everyone called him the sniper guy, and everyone was like, "No, I want that guy on my team." And 2 seconds later, his gun was broken, and he was like, "Oh," he was down for the rest of the day. So I was like, "All right, don't be that guy. Bring three."
Well,
So
I
no,
have that, but I always when I was going to play when I'd go to play something along that lines, where I know a lot of people are going to be really inexperienced, I tend to make sure the gun that I bring works well. I mean, I've always bring a good mask because I don't care what anybody says. I'm wearing the best mask I can, and I'm always wearing my cleats because, but I'll wear like crappy camo pants and like just look slovenly. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to
that's
look
just my
like.
natural look. Like Joe used to give me trouble for that when I played for one of his promotional teams. He's like, "I know we got a uniform, but you gotta wash it." Like,
Well, no, but I won't wear anything that actually makes it look like I'm a paintball player, like
I like that
or
sleeper.
dedicated paintball player. And the
No, I like to
best,
keep that fear in them.
well, see, but the best is when people start talking smack, and it's like, all right, give me 1 minute. You go back to your car, and you put the old thing away, and you bring out something that looks like this, and you pull on your actual jersey, and you just start going, all right, it's time to throw down. And
There's
you just
something about
start
the sound
loading
of a
up.
cocker, right? For the uninitiated.
I beg your pardon?
There's something about the sound of an autococker for the uninitiated, right? Like, I love it.
Well,
I used to run this with like the short little evil pipe that sounded like a gunshot.
right.
And yeah, people were like, chronograph that guy. I loved it. I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Like, come on over here. And then my favorite is just doing the switch. Like when we play rec ball, like I'll go out and everyone, and then halfway through the day, people go home or people are too hot or whatever, and I'll switch teams or something like that. And that's my favorite. And, you get to go after the mouthy guys that were on your team earlier in the day, like just
I've
being
never
idiots.
I've never
And then
actually tried that. I've never actually tried to switch teams. I never really cared that much.
that's kind of like, well, when it's like a couple of rental groups or something and we're playing all day and maybe some of the gun owners or whatever, maybe they're magfed players so they're tired or their gun's broken or I don't know. And then I'll just mention to the ref like, hey, I don't mind switching sides, and I'll do that, and then I'll remember who the mouthy guy was or who the guy was, you know calling for paint checks for no reason and stuff like that. And like, it's 39 degrees. Like, the ref does not need to run across the field on a rec ball day to like check out this rental kit. Like, so
No, I've always liked just playing as is and just looking as low key, just you know, make suggestions, not be that guy that everybody focuses on. And then when somebody starts stock professional, when somebody starts talking smack, it's just like, all right, I go back in, pull on a real jersey, flashy gun comes out, massive tank goes on, just you load for bear. It's like, come, let's go. And they just sort of look at you, go,
yeah,
I
I
live
love
for
that too.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of always just wore like just like a t-shirt and BDUs. I had suspenders for a while because my 4-in-1 pack, like the old 4-in-1 with the remote in it, it kind of broke. So I put these red, white, and blue suspenders on it. So I always took it pretty tongue in cheek. I was big on like dressing up, obviously, for like the Star Trek type thing. That kind of blew my mind. Like paintball playing Trekkies, that was like, what's going on? But then when I did start playing for that promotional team, that was part of it. Like we needed to dress like a team. And it wasn't serious because it was purely promotional. We just kind of did the circuit, handed out some flyers, coupons, asked people if they were coming to the Phoenix projects. So that was great. And I didn't mind getting the discounted whatever and throwing on a new vest or something like that. So
Cool. So what was the promotional team you played for, or you still play for it?
No, it's Task Force Raiders.
Okay.
They're still around. It's a Flag Raiders team. Big game scenario, sort of, get out there, yell at the kids, hand out sort of promotional stuff, promote other events and stuff. And it was a reciprocal deal kind of among the sort of 4 or 5 fields we played at regularly there, have their team come to us and do the same sort of thing. And yeah, it was great.
Nice. Now, I think we touched on this, but I don't know if you answered it. Where is it you want to play? Like a specific field or a specific game? What is at the top of your list to try to hit?
Super game. I want to get to an Ion or a super game for sure.
Okay.
OXCC, Hell Survivor. I see that Mr. ESPN's in the chat now, so you're in trouble now.
Mr. ESPN.
That's a mutant. Really dig those guys.
Oh, there. Right. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Follow him and his stuff. It's great. They got a good sense of humor.
I didn't catch on to the Mr. ESPN part. I thought you were talking about Fred Schultz.
No, this fool here that just joined us. They're hilarious. I've been following their stuff. They almost seem to have that kind of blue mentality, like Blues Crew. Like, it doesn't matter what you're wearing, what your budget is, where you're coming from. Like, just get out there and shoot the shit out of people, and then joke about it. Don't take it so seriously. This isn't LARP, right?
Right. Bear with me 1 second here. I'm just gonna redo my my phone because some people make comments and I can't see who it is. So if I cheat and do have my phone going,
I like that.
Then I can actually see who's making the comments.
Yeah, I think we're kind of spoiled here in Toronto for like our access to really good US fields like New York, Michigan, Ohio. Yeah, I kind of want to get out there into the eastern sort of seaboard.
Hey, Kathy. Do you know who Kathy is, by the way? All right.
Possibly.
So Kathy Alvarez, she's from New York, and her brother was on the Master Blasters in the 80s, which was and still is a very successful paintball / woods ball team. Mm-hmm. And then she moved out to Los Angeles or California, not necessarily Los Angeles. She moved out to California, and she now refs at fields in Northern California around Sacramento. And she spends a lot of time with the OG Ironman and whatnot. So she is paintball royalty. That's the best way to describe Kathy.
Well, I am humbled.
She's well loved by old schoolers, and old schoolers love her. So,
well, if she's coming this way, if she can bring me some Palmer's Pursuit parts, because the duties are killing me with the US dollar right now.
Well, yeah, best thing you can do.
I thought the dollar was low, but then they hit you with those import duties, and I was like, ugh.
Well, the best thing you can do is have it sent to you as a gift.
Yeah, or used. Although on the other hand, I had one guy send me a box and he wrote paintball gun parts. So that one got held up at custom a little bit longer. I prefer it when they write like sports memorabilia or vintage gear or something like that.
Just gift.
Yeah, not gun. Don't ever put paintball gun, airsoft gun.
Marker.
Just leave the gun off it.
But yeah, best thing to do is just make friends and have them mail it to you directly. Just have it shipped to their place and then pay the shipping.
Well, I'm friends with Craig and Glenn Palmer on Facebook, but they're businessmen first, so they're not buying it.
That's why I said make friends with people. Like I can call I don't know Craig very well, but I can call Glenn anytime. But
did you see that photo Craig posted of him and his sons out?
No.
Paintball. Oh, it was awesome. They're rocking these awesome like Palmer's. I don't even know what they'd be now, but they're obviously built by his dad. It was just a cool photo, like seeing the dad.
They were rocking what?
Like a Palmer's stroker or some kind of like brass looking badass paint slinger.
Or wait, so this was on 1 second.
On Facebook.
All right. So this was on Craig Palmer's.
Yeah, I thought it was a great picture.
All right. So let's look up Craig Palmer. I have him friended on Facebook, but all right. So let's go see what we got here. Actually, while we're doing this, I am going to try to do something cool.
It's about time.
All right, so do that, and then I believe I switch over to here. Video clips, background, show display names. Bear with me 1 second. I am seeing if I can. I want to broadcast a page. Ah, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. And okay, so share screen, and I want application window. I make sure I search there we tab. All right. How cool is that? So I can see you, you can see me, and now I can see what I'm looking at.
Now we're doxing him. I love it.
Oh. So is
There
that
it is
one?
right there? There it is right there. I love it.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There we
that looks like a blazer.
T-shirt and BDUs.
Yeah, and that is a Planet Eclipse. Judging by the back, it looks like a 170, maybe a 160.
So he knows what's good.
And it looks like it's got a single trigger. So it looks like
Mech.
So if it's so it could be the M170R.
Nice. That's on my list.
And I can't tell what that is, but that is, it looks like an old Ricochet loader on it.
Yeah. I would take Dad's marker any day of the week.
The Blazer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Notice he's running it looks like he's running CO2.
Yeah.
And he's got a shake and bake.
I love it. I love it.
That's awesome.
Seeing that sort of stuff, yeah. That's
so
how you grow the game.
Anybody that's out there, let them know that we're plugging Craig's stuff. And
yeah, send me some more stickers.
There we go.
I work for stickers.
Well, thank you for letting me do that, because that was awesome. I've never done that before. Well, I think I have a couple times when I was trying to show off stuff for the Allie Remembered Foundation. So
we're faking it and we're making it.
Right? I mean, we're not pulling the numbers that we normally, and I can't blame them, because I mean, you can awesome.
Blame me.
Well, no, I'm not blaming you. It's just shows tend to go better when you actually have a planned topic. Do you know what I mean? Like when there is some structure.
Well, next time I'm on, we'll cover all things shit posting and shit talking, because that is something that's missing.
What, smack talk?
Yeah, it's very tame now. I've noticed that since I've come back. Guns are slower. Hoppers talk to guns. Kids are softer.
Yeah. we don't have a lot of people out there like Nikki Cuba anymore pulling the T-Rex and just that guy was awesome. I miss watching Nikki Cuba talk smack.
And I agree with Devin Schwartz. There is nothing wrong with CO2. It's underrated.
And Kathy is asking if you want Palmer stickers.
Obviously.
Be careful how you answer, because I told you she's paintball royalty, and she only lives a few minutes away, figuratively speaking, from Glenn Palmer.
I know.
So they're friends.
Yes, my lady.
There we go.
Yes. And I love all of Glenn's colorful posts. I'm sad when they throw him in Facebook jail.
Yeah. So there you go.
I will definitely do that.
And Sean's piping at everyone who wants Palmer stickers. I don't know if I have any. I think I have a couple on one of my old toolboxes.
I have one on my Revy.
Yeah, but I'd have to check my toolbox. But yeah, I have about 6 or 7 toolboxes just full of old parts.
I've
for
heard
mold
your
guns.
Allen key collections and random parts. Yeah, I've narrowed it a lot down. I've sold a lot this year. I've got a lot narrowed down.
Well, look,
There was
I'm just sitting at my table. Here's Allen keys right here. That's just on my desk.
yeah. I'm actually sitting at my wife's workstation, so I don't understand any of the stuff that's around here. But actually, at the Wasaga big game, there was a guy there with a double-barreled nasty houndstooth. His name's Jordan on MCB, and he was you might have seen him. He wears a big tie-dye shirt with a smiley face on it.
Yep.
Oh man, he was amazing playing with him, just scaring the kids. Yeah, everyone was like, "Get down, get in cover," and he's just standing there. No, I'm good. Bang, bang, bang. The big 2 shake and bake hoppers on top of it. Holy shit, that was fun. Ref walks by. Oh God, that's loud. Concussion.
All right, my friend. Well, I think it's time for me to let you go. And I think it's time for me to put my kid to bed. I'd like to thank everybody I definitely want to thank you for coming on the show, because you made it. If it wasn't for you, I probably went on for 15 minutes and went, thanks for all coming out.
All right.
But do you have any more before we go? Do you have any more questions for me? Like I learned, like, you played local good. And we're going to have to play together sometime soon.
For sure. I want to get out to Combat Pursuit. It's definitely on the list.
Nice. It's a small field, which I like a lot, because has a very old school family thing. So when you go out and play, as a general rule, even when there's not COVID, you have maybe 10, 15 on a side, and the fields aren't too big, and it's just that has that nice intimate, like when you're playing, you shoot somebody, you recognize them, you go shake their hand, you know what I mean? Like, it just has that really great feel to it. I love Combat Pursuit for that. I mean,
good. I'll have to check that out.
Don't get me wrong, I've gone to lots of big fields and whatnot, and they're all great, but there's something really nice about Trevor's Field. He's been playing forever. He loves it. He'll have airsoft going on one field, and he'll have paintball going on another. And then if there's a lot of renters, sometimes he'll separate the renters from the owners, depending on the situation. I believe on Sundays, he has walk-ons with no limit. So if you've got the old angels and stuff that can just scream, you can have that. But on Saturdays, he tries to keep it. I believe the rate of fire is 5.5 if you're playing mech or electronic.
Fully reasonable.
I believe if you're playing electronic, it's you've got a 5.5 cap, no ramping, just simple, just keep it down. Plus, it gives him an edge when he plays because he's using an RT mag. So,
I'll bring
Love you, Trevor.
I'll bring the TAC one that he made me. I'll be like, "You made this for me. I'm a cocker guy. I don't understand this thing."
Yeah. So,
no, that's definitely on the list. I want to get there for sure.
Well, it's great meeting you, Neb, and we'll definitely talk again soon.
For sure.
As always, don't hesitate to shout out. Make sure you message Kathy. What do we got here? And it says, this is Rick Bailey. Kathy, if you ever bump into Bobby, please tell him that he is in the Splatoon's adventure queue to become Ball Long. And that is for his cartoon.
I love it. I'll have to check that out too.
So,
all right. Well, thanks for having me. It was great.
All right, my friend.
I behaved myself. So if anyone wants to see some of my less behaved stuff, they can check out that Paintball No Rules page I have going on.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no rules. No. So watch yourself. Mike Phillips has been known to lurk in there.
Who's Mike Phillips?
From Tech PB? Yeah. He had a quick exit. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Thanks for going on. All right, everybody. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night. We've been on for an hour, and it was a fake it till you make it. I can't thank Neb enough for coming on and joining us. Definitely not one of my better shows, and nothing against Neb. It's just, like I said, I find that shows go best when there's an actual topic and there's a little bit of pre-planning. And, when So some of these fake it till you make it. Sometimes they're just hilarious and they're a laugh a minute, and other times they're just a little bit slower. Tonight's was a little bit slower, but honestly, I love talking to Neb. I've been talking to him for weeks now, and it was an honor to have him on, and I am happy to have it. So in any case, I'm going to call it a night, everybody. Keep your paint dry and play with passion, everybody. Have a good one.